Anyone who's messed with an octopus knows. Looking at its soft tentacles, it's hard not to get a wild idea. So, I couldn't resist my curiosity and played with it late into the night. As I woke from a dream, the octopus had turned into my neighbor girl, Victoria. Startled, I turned to run, but she wrapped around me tightly, holding me fast. Victoria Hawthorne's tentacles coiled around my waist, her usually cool face blushing an alluring faint red. She said, "You've played with me until feelings developed. I can't control it." I'd found an octopus near my doorstep and casually tossed it into the tank on the balcony to keep. After showering, I came out in my pajamas to get some water and saw the octopus crawling out of the tank. With a soft plop, it fell onto the floor, flattened into a puddle. I rushed over and picked it up. My inner drama queen piped up, "You tricky little thing, just trying to get my attention, aren't you?" The next moment, it actively wrapped its tentacles around my finger. I clicked my tongue indulgently. Watching its tentacles flexibly wind and tumble around my palm, a playful impulse took over. I grabbed its tentacles and played with them for a while. Seeing the cute little suckers graze my fingertips, the strange, faint trembling sensation seemed to linger. I rubbed my fingertips, suddenly thinking, this scene is kind of lewd. Forgive me, I'm an erotic writer, I see everything through that lens. Suddenly, inspiration struck. I fiddled with the octopus's little tentacles, a mischievous grin spreading across my face. I heard octopuses have sexes. Males have a special tentacle called a hectocotylus, and females have a mantle cavity for mating. Let me see what the difference is. Whether it was my imagination or not, the octopus seemed to freeze for a second. Then, its tentacles started writhing frantically, nearly tangling themselves into a knot. I grabbed its head and started shaking it gently. "Little octopus, I advise you not to put up a futile resistance. Surrender quietly with that." I took hold of its tentacles, checking them from base to tip, one by one. The tentacles slipped through my grasp repeatedly, but how could I let it escape? After checking each one, I determined it was female. Next, I set about finding its mantle cavity. Found it, so there's a little opening here, huh? I held the little octopus's tentacle, poked, jiggled, and squeezed the spot, chuckling. These tentacles are so soft and springy, really cute like little tongues. I flipped it over again. Let me see. The octopus looked like it had given up the ghost. All its tentacles went completely limp. I immediately tangled my fingers with its tentacles, whispering comfortingly, "Don't be shy." Such flexible little tongues with suckers. Who wouldn't be envious? It just so happens I'm writing a non-human erotic story. Could there be better material? Little octopus, you're the star tonight, come on. Show me your magic with a wicked grin. I carried it into the bedroom. To make the details more vivid, I held its tentacles in my palm, playing with them, observing, then poking that little hole. At first it resisted desperately, but eventually it resigned itself, though its tentacles still put up a fight. My mood for teasing reached its peak. A 5,000-word long juicy chapter update was written in one go. After clicking publish, I glanced at the time, 2 in the morning. I was so tired my eyes wouldn't stay open. I collapsed onto the bed and fell asleep instantly. In a daze, I had an incredibly realistic, vivid, erotic dream. In the dream, a soft, moist touch traveled up from my lower body. In the hazy, intimate entanglement, I saw a breathtaking face that haunted my dreams. I murmured, "Yan Yan." She bit her lip gently, quietly watching me, motionless, like a silent seduction. Dreaming of such good fortune, I immediately wrapped myself around her. "Come on, ravish me like a hurricane. This is what a 20-year single guy like me deserves." Just as I was starting to enjoy it, ring, ring, ring. A phone's ringtone ruthlessly shattered my beautiful dream. Arg over before it even began, who understands this pain? I ran my hands through my hair in frustration. The caller ID showed it was Mom. I instantly deflated. "Hello, Mom?" My eyelids felt glued together. I could pass out any second. Mom's voice drawled, "Victoria Hawthorne is back in the country today. Go pick her up." That sentence jolted me awake. My mind cleared instantly. Victoria Hawthorne, my neighbor girl, the object of my affection since my first crush. On the eve of her departure abroad, I had mustered the courage to confess, only to be cruelly rejected. Later I found out she already liked someone else. Even going abroad to study was with the person she liked. That love story that fizzled out still haunts me. A sudden pang hit my chest. I mumbled, "I have plans to play ball with friends. Can't make it." Mom immediately offered a solution. "Cancel the ball game. You go pick her up." I retorted, "Postpone your work. You go pick her up." Mom yelled, "Sincere Clark." A wave of unwillingness washed over me, but I stubbornly said, "Anyway, whoever wants to go can go. I'm not going. My dad's a police officer, my mom's a doctor. When I was little, they were both very busy. You could say Victoria kept me company through middle school. Now that she's back, logically and emotionally, I should go pick her up." I deliberately called my cousin, Ashley Ash Evans, asking her to pretend to be my girlfriend. I wanted Victoria to know I had long since put her out of my mind. Not only did I have someone new, but I was also living quite comfortably. Because time was tight, I arranged to meet Ash in the airport lobby. When I arrived holding a bouquet of sunflowers, I found Ash with short, neat hair and cool androgynous makeup, looking more masculine than me. Shit, I forgot she's a butch lesbian. It would be more convincing to say we were a gay couple than boyfriend and girlfriend. "Seriously, cousin?" I said, exasperated. "I asked you to pretend to be my girlfriend, and you show up wanting to be my boyfriend?" I almost lost it with her right there. Ash yawned lazily. "I was partying all night. Showing up at all is doing you a huge favor." I urged her to go wash off the makeup and the hair gel, even resorting to bribing her with women. "After this is done, I'll introduce you to women. Sweet girls, purely lesbian." She instantly perked up. "I want a sweet girl. If she's not sweet, I don't want her. And she has to be strictly into women, no bisexuals." I slapped my chest in guarantee. Don't worry, guaranteed. Super sweet, super pure. The real deal. Sweet at first glance type, ha. Like hell I know anyone like that. If I knew sweet girls, would I still be single forever? What can I say, stuck with a cousin like her? Ash went off to the restroom happily. I looked around the airport lobby for a while, feeling inexplicably disappointed because Victoria hadn't even told me she was coming back. Probably afraid I'd keep pestering her. Although I really liked her, I wasn't clueless or a stalker. Suddenly my phone vibrated. A message popped up, "Sincere, look up." The familiar profile picture made my heart skip a beat. I looked up. Not far away, I saw her walking towards me against the flow of the crowd. 5 years. Time had sculpted her into someone even more coolly elegant, bright and graceful. Just one glance, and I still couldn't control the flustered pounding in my chest. My face actually started to feel hot. "What's wrong?" she asked, a sweet, warm scent wafting over as she looked at me intently. "Why are you blushing?" Afraid she'd realized she was the reason, I clenched my fists, took half a step back and turned my head away. A flicker of confusion crossed Victoria's serious face, and her expression seemed momentarily dazed. Suddenly Ash rushed over, hooking her arm through mine. Her previously sharp, neutral style was replaced with a bright, lively look. Her lips curved into a sweet smile, completely hiding her usual appearance. She smiled at Victoria. "Hello, neighbor girl, I'm Sincere Clark's girlfriend. Thank you for taking such good care of my boyfriend before." After speaking, she pinched me hard behind my back and whispered in my ear, "Why are you blushing? Get a grip, I'm here to back you up." I didn't want to either, but how could she be so beautiful? Those half-rimmed glasses on her nose hit me right where I live. Who could resist such a cool, mature beauty? Victoria looked at Ash's hand on my shoulder, her gaze darkening. "She's your girlfriend?" Her look towards Ash instantly turned cold, even tinged with anger. Ash immediately bristled. "What's that supposed to mean? What's wrong with me?" "You better make yourself clear." Victoria's glasses glinted coldly. Her tone was icy as she said, I just saw you in the restroom making out passionately with another woman." Hearing this, I was about to step in and mediate, but the sudden bombshell left me stunned. "What?" I took a closer look. Sure enough, Ash's lipstick was smudged from kissing. Looked intense. What did I miss? I instantly turned into a spectator, soaking up the gossip. Ash almost exploded with anger. "Hey, I was forced," I asked, my voice full of meaning. "Tell me more about this forced kissing. I'm very curious now." Victoria frowned slightly, looking at me suspiciously. "Sincere, is she really your girlfriend?" Oops, my gossiping was too obvious. I instantly plastered on a fake smile, laughing through gritted teeth, all bravado. In this life, who doesn't get cheated on eventually? I took Victoria's hand and walked away. Ash was hauled away by her ex-girlfriend. Who would believe it? A butch lesbian like her, carried off by a sweet girl. This world is truly bizarre. In my peripheral vision, I saw Ash's legs kicking wildly, followed quickly by a slap on her butt. She instantly behaved. I lowered my head, looking at the hand Victoria and I were holding. Indeed, my Yan was gentler. Stroking her warm, soft hand, I sighed. "Your hand is so soft." I couldn't resist giving it a little squeeze. For some reason, Victoria's face suddenly flushed crimson, from her neck to the tips of her ears, like she'd been teased. I really didn't do anything, did I? When did she become so innocent? Her reaction like this, it's going to bring out the pervert in me. Pathetically, I swallowed hard and quickly handed her the bouquet of sunflowers. "Welcome back, Victoria Hawthorne." Victoria's expression froze for a moment, a trace of sadness flickering in her eyes as she looked at me. "Why don't you call me Yan anymore?" Only after getting home did I learn that Victoria had actually returned yesterday. My mom was busy and got the date wrong. Victoria, suddenly shy for some reason, said, "I originally wanted to give you a surprise, but there was an accident." "What accident? Are you okay?" She adjusted her glasses lightly. "It's nothing serious. What should we eat later?" That evening we arranged to have hot pot. After ordering, she went to mix the dipping sauces. As I was scrolling through my phone, Ash called me via voice chat. Still angry about today, I snapped, "Ashley Evans, you have the nerve to call me? Let me tell you, you can forget about meeting any of the girls in my contacts, just keep dreaming." Ash's intermittent, muffled gasps came through the phone. Once I understood, my scalp prickled. "Wait, what are you doing? Are you serious? So I'm just part of your little game. Where's the morality? Where's the bottom line? And quickly tell me where the scene is." Ash's voice came through, tight with gritted teeth. "Send me your location. I've prepared a surprise for you. Guaranteed to make your neighbor girl completely lose her cool. Cost me $2,000, was saving it for myself. Consider it an apology." Horrified, I hung up immediately. My scalp tingled with embarrassment. I downed my drink. What is with this goofball cousin of mine? Victoria placed the mixed dipping sauce next to my hand. She looked at me, seeming to hesitate, the tips of her ears tinged red. "What is it?" I asked. Her gaze fell on my lips, her eyes deepening inexplicably. Sincere, that was the cup I drank from. Embarrassed, I scratched my head. So awkward. I buried my head in my food. Suddenly, a commotion arose in the restaurant. 2 young women, dolled up and made up, walked in. Our eyes met inexplicably, and they zeroed in on me. "Little brother, we're the paid companions you ordered. Aren't you heartbroken? Let us soothe your wounded soul." The meat I was chewing fell out of my mouth. Could this be Ash's 2000 surprise? Victoria's eyes turned cold, giving off an unapproachable vibe. You have to understand, Victoria had always been incredibly good-tempered. I'd never seen her angry. The next second, I was forced into an embrace from both sides. I shot Victoria an awkward smile, unsure how to explain. One of the sweet little sisters leaned in, innocent yet seductive, glanced at Victoria and asked, "Brother, who is this?" Flustered, I said, "My neighbor." Victoria's hand holding the chopsticks paused, the emotions in her eyes unreadable. She bit her lip and asked, "Neighbor?" I inexplicably felt a chill down my spine. The sweet little sister immediately followed up, "Oh, so just a neighbor." Her tone dripped with manipulative innocence. I thought she was brother's new girlfriend. Scared me, brother. Tonight you can only like me, okay? Otherwise I'll get jealous. I was dumbfounded, sensing impending doom. The girl on my right started too. Sister, you shouldn't mind us joining, right? We'll cheer brother up tonight. Heartbreak? It's no big deal. Tonight, we're brother's little rays of sunshine. Whatever brother wants to eat, I'll get it for you. I was speechless. Didn't dare move. Absolutely paralyzed. Though I had to admit, their voices were indeed sweet. And enough green tea vibes to start a plantation. Their figures were amazing too, curvy, showing a lot of skin. Those pale, smooth thighs. Who could resist? So inevitably, I glanced over. The sweet little sister was perceptive. She immediately purred sweetly. Brother, wanna touch? It's really bouncy. No, don't. There are people around. Seeing Victoria's face darken progressively, I shook my head like crazy. But the sweet little sister became even more forward. She took my arm. Don't refuse so quickly. You paid. This is all included. Otherwise, we wouldn't feel right earning the money. Or would you prefer we wiggle while you touch? Laughing, they expertly grabbed my hand and pressed it against their thighs. Victoria remained expressionless, gripping her cup so tightly her knuckles turned white. An inexplicable low pressure filled the air. Terrified, I pushed them away and made a dash for the restroom. Just as I reached the restroom, Victoria grabbed my wrist and pulled me into a nearby corner. Her familiar scent instantly enveloped me. She suddenly moved closer, hugging me almost desperately. After a moment, she took my hand and placed it on her thigh, saying with a hint of grievance, "My thighs aren't any worse than theirs, you know. You can only touch mine, okay? Don't go touching others." I won't lie, seeing her like this, I kind of liked it. I figured she must be drunk, otherwise she wouldn't say such flirty lines to me. "Victoria, you're drunk." Her forehead rested against mine. I looked at her. She stared back blankly. Her lashes trembled, looking fragile. "Why don't you call me Yan Yan anymore?" she asked. "Sincere?" I regretted. "What?" Before I could even process what she meant by regret, Victoria suddenly lifted her head and kissed me. As I was being kissed into a daze, something felt like it was wrapping around my lower limbs. A strangely familiar sensation, tingly and numb, just like the dream last night. I looked down. A tentacle. I blinked. The tentacle was gone. Was I seeing things? The next second, Victoria passed out drunk in my arms. The two sweet little sisters very thoughtfully helped me get Victoria home. Along the way, meaningful glances frequently landed on the four of us. Before leaving, one of them slipped a business card into my pocket. I righteously refused. I am a person who has shed-based desires. I don't engage in improper transactions. The girl giggled. "Where's your mind going? We don't offer that anyway." But just a reminder, the second time is half price. I immediately declined politely. After all, one cost 1,000 even with a discount. I couldn't afford it. After seeing the sweet little sisters off, I turned around to find Victoria sprawled on the sofa, looking at me drunkenly, eyes glazed, cheeks flushed. Not a trace of the cold, quiet neighbor girl from years ago. My mind screamed, she's seducing me, but I had the desire, lacked the nerve. I tidied up the guest room, settled Victoria in, took a hot shower, and went to sleep. Before sleeping, I touched my lips, my thoughts turbulent. What did Victoria's kiss tonight mean? Dozing off sometime in the middle of the night, I dreamed again. This dream was even more real than last night's. 8 tentacles tightly coiled around my lower body, brushing back and forth suggestively, yet seemingly jealous of each other, trying to push the others away. I saw Victoria's face again, sweaty, flushed, strands of hair falling along her neck, tickling me, making my skin crawl. That soft, moist feeling returned, but differently. She wasn't pressing against me, but nuzzling my face, guhuo ingly whispering, "Sincere, call me Yan Yan." Under her spell, I called out Yan Yan again and again. Her red lips parted, kissing me. When I opened my eyes again, it was broad daylight. My chest still throbbed with chaotic excitement. Coming back to myself, I mentally writhed in dark corners. Why did this dream cut off at the crucial moment? Was it mocking my lack of experience in this area? But I have plenty of writing experience. Suddenly, something hooked my finger, tightening abruptly. I looked down, my eyes nearly popping out. Wait, why was there a tentacle wrapped around my finger? It was sucking. Suckers enveloped my index finger from tip to base, gently sucking and vibrating. A numbing tingle shot up my spine. I couldn't help but shiver a few times, my brain instantly fuzzy. Could it be? I was still dreaming. I pinched myself hard. Ouch. Looked again. It was a hand. Good, just my imagination. Wait, a hand? Where did a hand come from? I whipped my head around. Victoria was lying next to me, her arm outside the covers, pale and slender. I took a deep breath, grabbed the blanket, and yanked it off. My face instantly turned beet red. Can someone tell me why she isn't wearing clothes? And there really are tentacles. This must be a dream. I pinched my own cheek hard. Painful just then, Victoria looked at me, eyes heavy with sleep. What's wrong, Sincere? Following my burning gaze, she looked down at herself. Instantly, even her earlobes flushed scarlet. Terrified, I turned to run. Before I even reached the door, she entangled me tightly. Her tentacles instantly coiled around my waist. I trembled uncontrollably. Her usually cool face was flushed with an alluring pink. You've played with me until feelings developed, she said. I can't control it. I was utterly bewildered. What feelings developed because I played with what? What kind of wild words were these? My first reaction was denial. I played with what of yours? After I said it, the atmosphere became even stranger. Mortified, the tentacles around my waist tightened, seeming displeased. Her voice suddenly deepened. Have you forgotten the octopus you picked up the night before last? Remembering my litany of misdeeds from that night, I swallowed guiltily. Don't tell me you're that octopus? How could that be possible? As if afraid I'd deny it, Victoria stated firmly, that was me. My smile vanished instantly. What exactly did I do that night? I even poked. There. I really deserve to die. Victoria pulled me back onto the bed. I was still embarrassed. I wanted to justify my lewd nature but didn't know how. She blushed, her eyelashes trembling. I understand. For creative needs. I put on a righteous face. Yes, exactly, all for art. Wait a minute. Now Victoria knew I wrote that kind of stuff. Did I have any face left? Just as I was cringing, the phone beside the bed rang. I glanced over. It was Victoria's phone. The screen flashed with a familiar profile picture. My heart instantly soured and swelled. I almost forgot Victoria had a boyfriend. I handed the phone towards her. Here, it's your boyfriend calling. Clenching my fists, a dull ache throbbed in my heart. I tried hard to restrain myself, waiting for her to finish the call before discussing the kiss last night. But anger and resentment still rose in my chest. I'm telling you, Victoria. I said, I like you, yes. I've liked you since we were kids. But that doesn't mean I'll accept a cheating woman seeing me puffed up like an angry pufferfish. Victoria panicked, reaching out to take my arm. I slapped her hand away. Cheater Victoria looked aggrieved. What boyfriend? Are you misunderstanding something? I shoved the phone in her face, demanding, Isn't Ethan Cole your boyfriend? I saw your relationship announcement posts on his feed. Victoria's expression instantly turned serious. What posts? Sincere, where did you see that? Seeing the genuine confusion on Victoria's face, I realized something was wrong. I stammered, You didn't know? I immediately pulled out my own phone, navigated with practiced ease to Ethan Cole's social media feed, and scrolled from top to bottom. From the confession and relationship announcement, going abroad together, to daily sweet interactions, it was all there. Every single post. None of it seemed fabricated. When my confession was rejected back then, seeing Ethan's announcement post, I had blocked Victoria in a fit of anger. I was afraid that one night, overwhelmed by emotion, I wouldn't be able to stop myself from acting like a pathetic simp around her. After all, she already had a boyfriend. Being a clingy admirer would have been too humiliating. All these years I had been peeking at Victoria's life through Ethan Cole's feed, like a mouse hiding in the shadows. I knew it wasn't right, but I hadn't bothered anyone. I just wanted to tell myself to stop clinging to false hope. When you're young, the more unattainable something is, the more obsessed you become. Victoria's fingers kept scrolling down, her face growing darker. Sincere, this is a misunderstanding. She took a deep breath and opened her own social media feed on her phone to show me. Look, I can't see any of these posts he made. I scrolled through hers. Sure enough, it was just posts showing off and bragging. Clearly, all the relationship posts Ethan made had blocked Victoria. I was completely stunned. So they were never together? Then why would Ethan put on this act, I asked. Victoria said calmly, I don't know why he would do that, but I will get to the bottom of this. Just as Victoria finished speaking, Ethan called again via voice chat. This time she answered, Victoria, I heard you're back? Victoria cut him off sharply. Ethan, when were we ever together? The person on the other end faltered for a moment. Did that neighbor of yours, Sincere Clark, say something to you? You know he's always had designs on you. Now that he sees you're back, he thinks he has another chance. That's why he's so hostile towards me. Victoria's voice was excessively cold. Ethan, you're delusional, and yes, he does have a chance. He always has a chance. Because I like Sincere Clark. I came back for him, but your actions have caused me serious distress. I expect you to publicly clarify this matter. Otherwise, expect to hear from my lawyer. Victoria hung up without waiting for Ethan's explanation. She looked at me anxiously. You have to believe me. There was really nothing between him and me. I suddenly remembered the times I got hurt defending Victoria from boys who harassed or even stalked her, and how she would tend to my wounds. I recalled the angry, unwilling look in Ethan Cole's eyes back then. After all, at that time, adults seeing them together would praise them as the golden couple, while I was just Victoria's unwanted tag-along, the third wheel in his eyes. I slowly asked, What did you just say? You like me? I stared at Victoria in astonishment. It felt like hitting the lottery jackpot, dizzying, like I was dreaming. Sincere, I've liked you for a long time. Her tentacles gently wrapped around my fingers. I looked down at her pale shoulders, unsure where to focus my gaze. I cleared my throat. When can your tentacles go back to normal? Victoria looked troubled. They can't go back just yet. Ugh, getting sidetracked. I brought the topic back. Then why did you reject me back then? This still bothered me deeply. If she liked me, why reject me? Victoria looked at me innocently. I was afraid your feelings for me were just an illusion. We were too young then. I grumbled resentfully. How young? Victoria sighed. You were only in 8th grade when you confessed, I muttered. But you're only a year older than me. She continued, Yes, we were both very young. But that day, I thought about it a lot. A long-distance relationship might last, but the process is often filled with painful feelings. You might not understand. I chose to refuse to give you a better future. I didn't want our relationship to hinder your progress. I wanted you to focus on your dreams, not be tied down by the troubles of a long-distance relationship. At the very least, we should have waited until we were adults, capable of making sound judgments. I said helplessly, Weren't you afraid I'd fall for someone else and stop liking you? She burrowed into my arms. Of course, I was afraid when I saw another woman holding your hand. I realized I wasn't as calm as I thought. So, Sincere, this time, how about I pursue you? My heart hammered uncontrollably. Victoria said she wanted to pursue me, but she didn't want me to agree right away. She wanted to savor the ambiguity period and mend my emotional scars. This baffled me. All I wanted right now was to play with her little tentacles. Not letting me play was the trauma, but I had to reluctantly agree. Annoyingly, she showed absolutely no transgressive behavior afterwards. So I had to use writing as an excuse, claiming I needed to observe her tentacles. Victoria's usually cool face turned bright red. Sincere, do we really have to do this? I nodded seriously. I had to admit, These tentacles were truly as flexible as little tongues. Wow. Best not talk about this. So, the next day, I was bouncing around like a kid with a new toy, full of energy. Man, I really am one lucky guy. Returning to campus after the break, I hitched a ride with Victoria. She said it was on her way. She had returned to the country to teach at our university. I was shocked. Only then did I learn she was already a professor at such a young age. Not only that, she had her own independent lab. I always knew Victoria was smart, skipping grades all through school. When I graduated middle school, she had already graduated college and was busy going abroad for grad school. But she was only a year older than me. Victoria smiled gently. My true form is an octopus. Octopuses have 3 hearts, 9 brains, and 2 memory systems. We're naturally incomparable to ordinary humans. My initial shock turned into envy. Seriously, couldn't she share one of those useful brains with me? She continued, by the way, 2/3 of my nerves are in my tentacles. They're really sensitive. Realizing her implication, I grinned knowingly. Once at school, we both got busy. She was just starting her teaching position, swamped with numerous tasks, and couldn't get away. We hadn't seen much of each other for almost half a month. I was full of complaints. While heading to an open lecture with my roommate, I bombarded Victoria with messages. After finding seats, gasps erupted around us. My roommate nudged me. Dude, look, the new female professor is so cool and stunning. I gave a non-committal reply, busy messaging Victoria. Yan, is this how you pursue someone? It's been ages, I'll lose interest quickly, you know? Actually, the solution is simple. Can I touch it tonight? I mean the soft little octopus body. The more Victoria forbade me, the more I wanted to. Suddenly, the room burst into laughter. What? What happened? I asked my roommate, looking up. There stood Victoria on the stage, and projected on the multimedia screen was our chat interface. The message I just sent was in plain view. Luckily, her contact name for me was elusive boyfriend and not my pet name. Otherwise, it would have been social suicide on the spot. My roommate shrieked in my ear, "Whoa, this couple's chat log is explosive." I was completely numb. It's not that explosive, right? Victoria calmly closed the chat app and explained straightforwardly, "My boyfriend. Please excuse us." The classroom buzzed for a while before quieting down. My roommate leaned closer. "Sincere, the professor's boyfriend has the same profile picture as you." Extremely nervous, I forced a laugh. "Just a coincidence." My roommate didn't seem overly suspicious, but then he leaned in again. "You seem a bit off." I immediately frowned, feigning composure, and mumbled, "Maybe it's just hot in here." I listened to the lecture obediently, not even daring to lift my head. The moment the bell rang, I packed my things to escape. But then I received a message from Victoria. Following her into her office, one after the other, I had just closed the door when Victoria suddenly hugged me. Her breath tickled my ear. "Didn't you want to touch?" Instantly, my face felt hot enough to cook an egg. Sincere, doing that in class. Was it intentional or accidental? I wouldn't admit it. I righteously retorted, "You talk about mending my emotional scars, but then you get busy and can't mend them, even once in half a month, in that contact name." "Elusive? How am I elusive?" Victoria pleaded innocence. "I couldn't help but just started teaching here. My schedule is packed. A bunch of new courses. Preparing for them is really busy." Victoria leaned in, nuzzling me. "How about we go out this weekend?" I reflected. "My bad." I pursed my lips dismissively and turned my head away. Victoria grabbed my wrist playfully. "Is just touching enough?" she asked, her words trailing off suggestively. I saw more in her eyes. So, emerging from Victoria's office, my entire brain felt fuzzy. The weekend arrived quickly. That evening, I deliberately showered, changed into a white shirt and dress pants, and went downstairs. Victoria told me to wait downstairs by the dorm. She'd come find me after putting on makeup. However, going downstairs, I ran into Sarah Miller, a junior student. There's a volleyball court across from our male dorm. Sarah's on the volleyball team and often practices there with her teammates. I met her during freshman orientation. Back then she seemed a bit lost, heading to the 6th floor only to realize her room was on the 3rd. After finally hauling her luggage to the 3rd floor, she discovered it was the wrong dorm building entirely. After I helped her move her things, we became friendly. She often came to chat with me and practiced on the court opposite our dorm. Seeing me, she ran over. "Sincere, going for a walk on the field this late?" "Just heading out for a bit," I replied. "Alone?" she asked. Seeing I didn't answer, she kindly added, "There have been some suspicious people near campus lately. Be careful, thanks, Sarah." "I will." Just as I was about to wave goodbye, her tone suddenly became urgent. "Wait, don't move, what's wrong?" She placed one hand on my shoulder, stood on her tiptoes, and used the other hand to gently brush something off the top of my head with a tissue. "Okay, there was a little spider on your head just now. I got it." She then gently placed the tissue on the ground, and the little spider scurried away happily. Her friends nearby were avidly watching the unfolding drama. Realizing the situation looked awkward, I was about to explain on Sarah's behalf, but she just laughed nonchalantly. "It's okay, I don't mind. Senior, you be careful, okay? I'm going to play ball now." After saying goodbye, I turned and saw Victoria standing under the large scholar tree, looking coolly elegant. She seemed a bit unhappy. I ran over to explain, but Victoria just took my hand and said, "Sincere, I'm not angry with you, I'm just jealous." Victoria could get jealous? Really? I leaned closer to investigate. Suddenly, she pulled me into the nearby woods, wrapping around me tightly, asking, "Can I be promoted to official girlfriend now?" Just as she finished speaking, Sarah sent several messages, all recommendations for famous nearby night markets. Victoria's gaze instantly darkened. "Kiss me," she demanded. I feel insecure. I was speechless. What was she even talking about? But the reason didn't matter, the result did. I immediately nodded like a pecking chicken, pulled her closer with a slight effort, her tentacles gently winding around my fingers, and kissed her deeply. After the kiss ended, she gasped for breath against my shoulder. Suddenly, a cough came from a corner. Startled, I saw my cousin Ash emerge from the side. "Whoa," she exclaimed, shocked. Why are you here?" Quickly, another woman emerged from behind her, surprisingly her ex-girlfriend. That woman was also shocked. "You guys sneak into the woods too?" Victoria looked exasperated. "Sincere, looks like your ex-girlfriend really likes women." My head instantly throbbed. How did I forget to explain this? Misunderstanding. I quickly hugged Victoria's waist. Victoria paused. "Misunderstanding? What, are you still hung up on her?" Speechless again. Why was this so hard to explain? "No, she's the one I hired to trick you. She's my cousin." I shot Ash a desperate look, pleading for her to clarify. Ash raised her hand. "I vouch for him if he's lying. May all the partners I find in the future be women, damn it, as if the person beside you isn't female already. Please have some self-awareness about your preferences," the other person exploded, yelling, "What do you mean, partners you find in the future? You still planning on finding more partners? Use me and then toss me aside, huh?" The next moment, Ash was hauled away again. I stared, dumbfounded. But seeing her bashful expression, I think I understood. That night, I also got the 3rd degree. Tentacles wrapped around me one by one as Victoria asked why I had someone pretend to be my girlfriend to deceive her. If I didn't want to talk, she had ways of making me. So I said, "Because I wanted you to regret it. Wanted you to know I didn't like you anymore." She hugged me tightly, her face full of apology. Okay. It was my fault before." But I turned my head away, stubbornly refusing to look at her. She let out a soft grunt, followed by a happy, soft envelopment. Who could resist this? On a separate note, to be a better boyfriend to Victoria, I crammed everything I could find about octopuses. Later, I learned that each octopus arm can think independently. Although octopuses are intelligent, they have short lifespans. That night, I held Victoria and cried for half the night. No wonder you became a professor so young it was exchanged for a short life. Boo-hoo-hoo. Victoria looked at me helplessly. After dating steadily for a year and a half, My mom caught me sneaking over to Victoria's place late at night for some fooling around. Our secret relationship was instantly exposed. The parents from both families sat down that very night and discussed things until dawn. They decided to arrange the engagement first. Neighbor girl instantly became fiancé. Damn, what kind of insane luck did I stumble into? I grabbed Victoria, and we slipped away that night, going on a trip. I was afraid if we stayed a second longer, they'd even have decided on names for our future children. Better for everyone to cool down. That night, I wasn't calm. Seeing this beauty fresh from her bath, I couldn't control myself. Although walking around all day was tiring, I felt I could manage. I carried Victoria back to the bed. Her tentacles massaged my aching calves. Suddenly, she wrapped one around my finger and wouldn't let go. A year and a half had made her much bolder. Everything that happened in those dreams replayed, scene by scene. I was very satisfied. It wasn't easy for those little tentacles to bear so much. After finishing our research project, while she wasn't paying attention, I gently took her finger and slipped a ring onto her ring finger. She looked at me surprised. I kissed her eyelashes. Before I could even speak, she said, "I do."